That's two in a row. That's right. The New York Jets have officially defeated the Cleveland Browns today on November 9th, 2025 in week 10 of the 2025 NFL season. Today we're going to be recapping and putting in a lot of analysis into today's game, and boy, am I proud of the New York Jets for getting it done again today. We will be discussing and recapping the entire game, so do not go anywhere. Stay here on Jack Talks Jets and enjoy the recap. Let's get right into it. We're gonna start with the offense today, as we always do on every single recap. Hey, look, let's not sugarcoat it, okay? The Jets offense throughout most of the game looked very sloppy. The Jets only had 170 total yards today. That's passing and rushing. And only 47 offensive plays, okay? So let's not act like the Jets had some offensive shootout and great offensive game like they did last week or 2 weeks ago in the second half of the game. For 3 quarters, it felt like the same story. You know, there were a lot of missed blocks, a lot of stalled drives, and a lot of, no rhythm plays throughout the entire game. But when it mattered most, here's the thing. This is why the New York Jets scored 27 points. We're going to get to the we're going to get to special teams in a few minutes. That's a huge reason why. But another reason why the Jets stayed competitive in this game and let themselves score 27 points in the game is because when they delivered, most importantly, when Breece Hall delivered again, he was absolutely electric today. I loved watching Breece Hall in a New York Jets uniform, and I'm so happy the Jets did not trade him at the trade deadline. Because you know what? I think Breece Hall's proved enough to me to believe that he could be getting a franchise tag next season. Maybe, again, who knows? If I'm not certain, but I'm leaning towards the belief that Breece Hall could very well get a franchise tag next season. Now, do I want that? Absolutely. I don't think there's. I love Isaiah Davis. I love Braylon Allen, but you have a special talent in Breece Hall. He has a good O-line. He's averaging around 5.5 yards per carry this season, which is one of the most in the entire NFL. And he's having one of his best seasons with the Jets so far. It was starting off to a slow start in the first 6 weeks. But ever since week 7, he really started to pick up his play style again. And if he plays like this the rest of the season, so be it. Give him a contract or give him a franchise tag. If he doesn't, if he starts playing like he did back in like week 4, week 5, fine, let him walk, or maybe get a franchise tag on him just to give him one more year. But in my opinion, I believe that Breece Hall deserves a franchise tag as of right now. Again, who knows? By come week 18, that could be a totally different story. In the fourth quarter, however, Hall took a screen pass 42 yards to the house, putting the Jets in front for the rest of the game. He finished with 84 scrimmage yards and that touchdown, proving once again he's the engine that makes this offense go. He is the backbone of this offense, which is why I think that he fits so well with Tanner Engstrand's offensive scheme, and which is another reason why I believe the New York Jets should re-sign Breece Hall or at least give him a franchise tag. Going to Justin Fields now. Justin Fields was efficient but pretty quiet throughout the game. 12 for 20 for 142 yards and a touchdown for Justin Fields. The offensive line still struggled to open a few lanes today. There are a little bit of too many negative runs today. Too much pressure leaking in through the edges. But overall, Justin Fields did play a pretty efficient game today. Through a costly interception, which most fans and a lot of people, I'm sure, watching the game thought that would be the start of the spiral of the Jets losing that day. But no, fortunately, the Jets offense and the Jets defense and the Jets special teams and the Jets coaching got it together and got the win for the Jets today. But look, if we're being real, this was a win in spite of the offense, not because of it. But here's the silver lining, right? I mean, when they needed one play, they got it, right? There were multiple plays throughout the game where the Jets needed to clutch up big time, and they actually got it. We've actually seen a lot of times this season where the Jets could not complete third down conversions, fourth down conversions, big plays when they needed to. But you know what? The Jets did it today, and I'm really proud of them for that. I've seen a lot of improvement over the last 3 weeks with the Jets, especially keeping their confidence up and their competitive levels up. I mean, take a look at the Panthers game. The Panthers game, they could not even score a touchdown. There was a point throughout 6 weeks where the New York Jets could not score a first half touchdown, and now this is 2 games in a row where they have. And especially today, I mean, I thought, I was like, for the Bengals game, I was like, okay, Bengals have one of the worst defenses in the entire NFL. I don't really want that to be an excuse. I kind of think that might be an excuse for the Jets scoring at this many points. But today, the Browns have one of the best defenses in the league, and the Jets, like I said, the Jets offense was sloppy at times, but they were way better than they've been all season long. I mean, this is probably, I would say, the third best offensive game for the Jets of the year. You have Pittsburgh probably at number 2 and Cincinnati at number 1. I mean, something about playing the AFC North just makes us really happy. Hopefully that's the case against Baltimore. Highly doubt it will be, but hopefully that is the case. What needs work, however, on the offense, drive consistency, again, like we said, does need a little work. Early rhythm, like showing, plunging your ticket early into the game, right? Punching them in the mouth early in the game. That's something that needs to, pop up more with the Jets. Protection, it's been an issue a little bit, especially over the past couple of weeks. Still solid, but definitely not as good as it was a few weeks ago. Hopefully that'll fix up soon, but overall the Jets O-line did do pretty well today. There's just a couple of pressure issues that do need to be addressed. Moving on to the defensive side of the ball, you want to talk about a breakout. Wow, Will McDonald had himself a day today. He even won the game ball next to running back Breece Hall for the Jets offense. 4 sacks today, the most by a Jet since John Abraham in 2003. Yes, I dug my research into this game today because I was so proud of Will McDonald. I wanted to see, because I was like, okay, earlier in the game I was like, dude, Will McDonald has what, 3 or 4 sacks? So I looked it up. I was like, when's the last time? I looked up, when is the last time a New York Jets defensive end or a Jets defensive lineman had 4 sacks? And it's been for 22 years since that happened, since John Abraham in 2003. Nearly every sack as well came at a high leverage moment. The defensive front was relentless in the second half, even with the absence of Quinn Williams, forcing the Browns off schedule and closing the door late. For much of the game, though, the defense played bend but don't break football. Like they were struggling at times but refused to give up, is basically what I'm saying. The Browns run game got chunks early on the Jets defense, and the secondary gave up too many soft completions, though. I mean, I've been saying this. Without Sauce Gardner, I feel like the Jets defense is not the same. And we did see that throughout a few times today, like Brandon Stevens getting that touchdown pass thrown on him today, which was not a good sign you want to see as a Jets fan. I mean, Stevens has been struggling all season long, but especially in today's game, he did not show that he is worthy of coming back for next season. I'd definitely rather have Azareye'h Thomas or Jarvis Brownlee for next season at cornerback. Still, when the game tightened, the Jets defense, the Jets pass rush definitely took over. Quincy Williams had himself a game today as well, despite being benched earlier in the week. Quincy Williams showed why he still should be a starter on the New York Jets starting defense. I get he has struggled this season as well, but today I feel like he definitely had one of his best games of the entire season this year. Again, what needs work? Let's move on. What needs work now for the Jets defense? Tackling in the open field, I feel like that's still an issue. Early game adjustments, that's still an issue. The defensive unit cannot afford to wait until halftime to start winning matchups. That's another issue. But this was a gutsy physical effort by the Jets defense today. And again, I could not be more proud of them today. The Browns offense is absolutely terrible. But the Jets finished their job, and they finished it very, very well. You just have to start that momentum in the first half. You cannot start that in the second half. You really can't. Now moving on to arguably the highlight of the day, the New York Jets special teams unit. Oh my gosh. This was awesome. We're going to start with the 99-yard kick return touchdown that Kene Nwangwu had in the first half of this game for the very first Jets touchdown of the day. What a play that was. I believe that was the first kick return touchdown. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know if first kick return touchdown since last year against the Seattle Seahawks, which, by the way, was Kene Nwangwu. I was in attendance for that game. Actually, unfortunately, the Jets lost after being up 21-7. But wow, when that play happened, I mean, the whole stadium was going absolutely nuts. It was electric at MetLife that day after that kick return touchdown by Nwangwu. And he had another one today, 99 yards for the New York Jets today. And let's talk about Isaiah Williams for a second. What a turnaround he's had this season. Well, ever since the Jets cut Xavier Gipson and signed Isaiah Williams, Williams started off to a horrible start. People were saying he was worse than Xavier Gipson. Why did we sign Xavier Gipson 2.0? This dude is just out here fumbling. This guy is out here just making mistakes. Look at him now. I mean, over the past couple weeks, he's had excellent returns for this special teams unit. He had a 74-yard punt return touchdown for the New York Jets today. That's 14 total points today from special teams. The difference, that was the difference maker in the game. The Jets would have lost 20, arguably, if I had to guess, the Browns would have scored maybe a couple more points. Probably would have been like 27-13 Cleveland by the end of the game if special teams did not clutch up. Nick Folk, steady as usual, nailing both field goals in all of his PATs. The coverage units were disciplined and avoided the mental mistakes that plagued them earlier in the year. Austin McNamara, of course, always, he's a dog. I wanted to be a Jets punter for a long time. What does need work, though, for the Jets special teams? There's not much. The group was lights out today. They've been lights out for weeks, especially that kicking unit with Nick Folk and punting unit with Austin McNamara. If you're the Jets, you hope this wasn't a one-off and that Brant Boyer's unit keeps this energy rolling forward. Let's move on to the coaching for the New York Jets today. I'm going to give credit where it's due. Aaron Glenn has his guys believing now, especially with this 2-game win streak. That's two straight wins after starting 0-7 on your season. And the team's body language, like I said earlier in the video, has flipped completely. They look more competitive. They look more confident. And I'm sure team morale has gone up now that the Jets are 2-0 in their last 2 games. And I'd like to think that the Jets are in this mentality of 1-0 every week instead of looking at it, 2-7. Now let's be 3-7. No. Hopefully the Jets are with this mentality that they're going to be 1-0 every single week, because that's the mentality they need to have, and they've looked like they've had that mentality for the past couple weeks. Glenn preached fight and finish, and they've delivered on both fronts for the past 2 weeks. Offensive coordinator Tanner Engstrand still has some explaining to do, though, for the past couple of weeks. 170 yards of total offense is not good enough. Again, still using Justin Fields as a pocket passer the majority of the time. I did see some great Justin Fields runs, though, which is a lot more options today for Fields, which is, I feel like, is what the Jets really need to do a lot more for this team, or for this offense, excuse me. But the play that he called for Breece Hall's screen for the touchdown was perfectly timed, and it just shows that he's learning to lean into his best offensive players as the season goes on. Moving on to the defensive side of the coaching, defensive coordinator Steve Wilks deserves credit for unleashing McDonald and dialing up that pressure late in the game. His halftime adjustments worked for the New York Jets, something that wasn't happening earlier in this season. Again, something that we haven't seen earlier in the season for the Jets on both sides of the ball, adjustments and adaptation. That's something I want to see for the Jets for the rest of the season. What does need work, though, for the coaching, I believe, is game prep and early sequencing. Again, coming out early and punching them in the mouth. I feel like that's still an issue. Still have to get that going. The Jets have to start faster and find an offensive balance. But Glenn's decision-making late, especially trusting his defensive and special teams, was spot on. I will say that. I'll give credit where it's due. My final takeaway for today's game, this was a gritty, a little ugly, and a little chaotic, but it was still Jets football. The New York Jets got a win today. They got a W today. Hopefully Justin Fields is eating that W like Jameis Winston was with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Jets win today, baby. You can't have a better feeling than that. Victory Monday tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for watching today's game recap. If you are here, make sure to hit that like button. If you are new, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Road to 350. We are currently 12 subscribers away. Goal is to reach that by the end of the NFL season in February. And I will see you all next video. Peace out, Jet fans.